all of you out there in the Kenny's to Pennies land is sick and tired of hearing of Laticia Astacio. Me, for one. You know what? It just seems as though this one that the Rochester City, the people there elected to represent him in court, just can't seem to stay out of trouble. And she was voted to uphold the law. Well, it all stemmed, from when she was caught saying, "You're ruining my life." Well, of course, she's blood-eyed and drunk. It just seems as though no matter what sentence is handed to her, it just seems as though she finds a way to flagrantly violate all of the terms of her probation. Because now, guess what? Apparently, she has to appear in court because she apparently went to Del Lago, and apparently one of the terms of her probation is when she goes out of Monroe County, she has to notify the probation department, which apparently she didn't do. And of course, it seems as though wherever she goes, she's accosted. It seems as though you see people, recording her. And of course, one girl's now in trouble. A woman, I should say, is now in trouble because apparently on Saturday night, she accosted Judge Astacio for going to a bowling alley bar there in Rochester. Of course, you don't know whether she was there to drink. But of course, that ankle bracelet is supposed to monitor if there's any alcohol. She's been given every chance in the book, and it seems as though she continues to flagrantly violate everything that is thrown at her. And all the while, she's not doing a lot of her judicial duties. In fact, she's supposed to be doing clerical duties, but she's not showing up for work. And she's also continuing to claim that salary there. Well, she's not doing anything. That is, all the taxpayer money, your and my taxpayer money, seems to be floating to her. You know what? Enough's enough. When is she going to get the idea? Maybe when the judge takes the law book off of his bench and literally throws the book at her. Because you know what? I think it's time somebody did throw the book at her. Maybe not for the uncompromising way she's dressing, because let's just say it's very unjudge appropriate the way she's dressing. But also, hey, when is she going to get the idea? The law is the law, and she was sworn to uphold it. Maybe we ought to call in a hypnotist. Abracadabra, hocus pocus, make this go out of focus. And then they go, "You are now in Sing Sing." And if she says, "I am now in Sing Sing," you know what? Good. Maybe it's just where you belong, Judge Laticia Astacio. You know what? Enough's enough. Time to throw the book at you. Well, I'm going to go from ranting about her to talking about something I've been hearing now. Seems as though with the pitches and the faster speeds those foul balls are coming off of the bats, seems as though more fans are getting hurt going to watch Major League Baseball. Because, I figured I'd say something now that Major League Baseball is in its playoffs, on its way to the World Series. Of course, they say the statistics are there. There's an average of 40 foul balls hit during every Major League game. And they say 1,700 fans are injured by these foul balls. Well, especially if a ball gets hit off of Aaron Judge's bat, you know what? All rise. Here come the judge. Of course, 3 weeks ago we saw what happened in that Yankees game. That girl got critically injured. And of course, now there's a Chicago Cubs fan who's now suing the team because a foul ball in August hit him in his left eye, and it looks as though he may lose the vision. And there's now all the clamor now for the teams to extend the netting. Well, it's a double-edged sword the way I look at it. Number one, yeah, you're supposed to go there, and you want to enjoy a good Major League Baseball game. These guys put on a heck of a show. And I admit, years ago I was a huge baseball fan until the strike wiped out the 1994 World Series. Slowly but surely, I'm kind of getting into watching baseball again. Maybe not as much because I've moved on with my life, but still, if you go to a ballpark, major or minor league, you want to enjoy the game. And of course, I'm for protection, but at what point does the netting interfere with the vision lines? Because, I mean, it's kind of hard to look through the netting sometimes. But I will say, hey, Major League Baseball needs to do what it needs to do to protect the fans. But still, you want to enjoy the experience. Well, the way I look at it, hey, it's going to be another heck of a playoffs to the World Series. Cleveland and the Yankees are now going in a pretty good battle in their ALDS series. Chicago's in a pretty good battle. The Dodgers and the Astros already have made their championship series. So you know what? It's going to be an exciting countdown to the Fall Classic. Let's hope it's another good Fall Classic like last year. And if you ask me who I'm pulling for, I'm not going to drop the hint. Well, let me quickly talk about both Syracuse and about Buffalo. Clutch win by the Cuse against Pitt this last Saturday. And you know what? We're now heading into the meat of the schedule. And I will have to say kudos to the basketball team for nailing another top recruit. Jalen Carey is coming to University Hill. And I kind of knew once they got the situation with Boeheim resolved, the recruits would start coming back. And there's a chance we could have another big recruit. Well, let's see what happens. And of course, saying to someone who I know personally, I have to say, I'm thirsty after watching the Orange beat Pitt. But now we're heading into the meat of the schedule. It's the Tigers coming up Friday night. Of course, it's in the Dome. But you know how much firepower Dabo Swinney and the Tigers have. And just like I said last week, not so hasty, Bills fans. Yeah, that 3-1 start and the way the defense was playing had some noise being made around Orchard Park. But you kind of saw the shortcomings that Buffalo has. Hey, they don't really have a viable big offensive threat. And now that Clay's gone down for multiple weeks, maybe the season with a knee injury, you know, it's going to be even harder to find viable threats. The tight end is now the grandson of the Golden Bear. And of course, Jordan Matthews is out with a thumb that was surgically repaired. You know what? We need to get something, and we need to get something now to help bolster the wide receiver core. I don't know if we can get Anquan Bolden out of retirement, but it sure would be good. And last but not least, I'm going to make a shout out to a couple local teams. Mynderse can, for the first time in a long time, make it to the Section 5 football playoffs. This is their homecoming week, and they take on Nichols, a small school out of Buffalo. And if they win, they're in the Section 5 tournament for the first time since goodness knows when. Let's get going, Blue Devils. And also, a shout out to the Waterloo girls volleyball team, of course, and their coach, Crystal, Don't Call Me Champagne Kent, and their Dig Pink tournament coming up. And also a shout, because it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, a shout to Katie Wright, who this year battled that terrible deadly disease and has won. I'm Ken Haas, and that's my rants for this week.